Oh, yeah.
I love Tom Petty.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that when he passed away, I shed some tears.
Yeah, I was sad when he died so young, man. I was like, man, I never got to see him in concert.
I haven't seen any live, but I've watched a few. Oh. Is that better, Gally?
Yeah. Not hearing it now.
Alrighty. Sorry about that.
Just keep in mind, we do have Sirenscape running, so anybody who needs a little background sound can tune into that during pregame.
We have to watch the stream, right? To listen to it.
Yeah, but that window doesn't. That window doesn't have to be in the foreground. You can just tune into that window, or tune into that stream, and then put Discord in the background, or on another screen, or whatever your setup is like.
I might take off a little bit slightly early today, if you don't mind.
Well, it's going to depend on whether we're in a combat, and it's going to have more of an impact on your party members than it will on me. So just keep those things in mind when you schedule other things. Mm-hmm. Keep that time in mind.
Hey Chris, how you feeling?
Oh, okay.
Glad you're feeling well enough to join us.
Yeah.
I guess we're waiting on Heather.
Yep.
Ivy mentioned her work schedule. I think she's using her time, so she finishes work at 3 o'clock her time, which is 4 o'clock our time, and then it takes her a couple of hours to get home. So she might be home before our session is over, and might not be.
Yeah, she's usually here by around the time of our break.
Yeah, I think the reason she mentioned something is because she's working later today. Normally she works until works until about the time we start, and then I don't remember. Wait a minute. Do I have that backwards? Okay. No, I think you're right. 3 o'clock her time is 2 o'clock our time, because she's on Atlantic time, not on East Coast time.
Yeah.
So she is an hour ahead of me. So when she says she's off at 3, that's off at 2. Okay, never mind. Getting myself confused. I keep thinking of Eastern to Central instead of Atlantic to Eastern. Ah, there she is. Welcome, Goonie. How are you doing?
Okay.
Hey, Heather.
All right. Welcome everybody to Walker of Waterdeep. I am DM Galibar. The players have all joined in the Discord, and they are on the Roll20. And we are here getting ready for our 122nd edition. 122nd session of this game. The party last time made their migration from the hidden village to the city of Junun. More specifically, they are at the villa of Badraan, who is one of the senators in Junun City. And they have their all of their supplies in the stable over here, and we were just getting ready to get to them into the house. It was a matter of housekeeping. Ivy, who plays Elora, is not able to join us at the start of the game, but we hope that she'll be able to join us during the session later on today. All right, let me update the sound set and stream. Just as a reminder, we use the Sirenscape sound effects, and for our background sound, we're going to put on the. We're going to start with the daytime events of a bustling city. So. All of the noise, the hustle and bustle of people going by on the streets outside of the estate will be in the background. Players, you and your Veiled Alliance allies who have come here have been met by some of Badraan's servants, and you are welcomed in. And part of the reason that you were welcomed into the estate is that you were offering some premium giant tortoise weapons and armor, or weapons and shields, that are kind of rare and are something of a status symbol among the nobility and the movers and shakers in the large city-states of this world. Such as Junun City. So the servants will welcome you all and will say, please come in. The senator would be most pleased to greet you in the great hall of the house. So you guys can go ahead and bring your tokens out onto the map here.
Oops.
I was gonna say, where are people?
I thought I had logged in. I had not.
Uh-huh.
I apologize.
All right.
Dang hit points.
Okay, and so Badraan will greet you all as you come in. Oh, welcome. You are most welcome here in my home. I'm understanding from my servants that you are merchants traveling from afar. Please, be at peace. You may remove your hoods and your cowls if you wish.
Still staying under disguise? Or are these people aware that we're not from here?
These people are probably not aware that you are foreigners at this time.
Yeah. Adam is keeping his big ass cloak on.
Okay.
Galibar's keeping disguise self up.
Well, and I've got whatever it is on me that makes me look like a mole.
Okay. All
Hold
right.
it.
What?
Nothing. Nothing at all. I said nothing.
Huh.
And then, who among you can tell me a bit about the merchandise that you have? And he kind of looks around expectantly.
Look over at the big ass cloak.
I told you everything. Adamant will pull out one of the rapiers.
Whoa! And Badraan will step over towards Adamant, and as soon as you pull out the rapier, he begins studying it. Tell me, what is the history of this weapon?
Well, a tortoise attacked our village. We killed it. And these are handcrafted by various people.
Oh, he inspects the hilt and the blade. Remind me, were there any special materials other than the tortoise shell itself that you used to make
Just a tortoise shell. He didn't do too much special with these ones. These are just the mass-produced ones, not like the ones for the soldiers who went and fought with them.
Mm-hmm. And he tests the weight of it. Oh, very finely balanced. How many of these do you have available for sale?
Minus the one that you pick. We have... Pulling up my stuff now. I've got a total of 18 rapiers, 17 if you take one, sheaths included, and I've also got 12 shields. He pulls out one of the shields.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! This is remarkable. I have 10 among my staff who are personal guard. I could outfit all of them. And do I understand that you intend one of these as one of these is for me personally?
Indeed. For letting us take up residence here while we are in the vicinity.
Oh, this is your guest gift. Oh, this is a fine and remarkable weapon. Yes. Oh, well, this will make tomorrow's celebration all the more grand, don't you think? I can outfit my guards with their brand new rapiers, their brand new shields, and we can all be escorted together to the stadium for the Grand Millennial Games. It will be remarkable, will it not?
It will. Out of character, how much would these sell for retail-wise?
Okay, so we have established that metal weapons are very expensive. We've established that these are pretty rare. So let me go and give you pricing. Okay, so giant tortoise shell weapons, they'd be about 3 times the cost of a normal weapon. So instead of 25 gold pieces per rapier, it would be about 75.
Okay.
And then for the shield, I believe that works out to 30 gold pieces for the shield. Yep, 30 gold pieces for the shield. So 75 GP for each tortoiseshell rapier.
You said 30 for the shields?
Yep. Rapier from giant tortoise shell. 30 GP for each shield.
Could have made a tortoiseshell plate mail and made a ton.
Oh, good lord. Yeah. They'd have questions about how I pulled that one off.
Yeah.
There'd be questions.
And he says, "Oh, you have fought a giant tortoise, and you were able to defeat it from the warriors of your own village. That is remarkable. Should a giant tortoise ever attack the city of Junun, it might take many of the city guard, along with a few of the king's own chosen viziers, to be able to defeat it.
There were traps involved.
Oh, traps. Ah, ingenious.
Nobody would dare take those on head on. That would be insanity.
Yes, of course.
Because you wish to purchase in bulk, let's see. He pulls out a piece of paper and one of his pens and starts scribbling. Let's see. Then it's 75 per unit. Buying in bulk, you want to buy 10 of them. 10, 50. See, I will do 700 for the rapiers and 250 for 10 shields.
700 for the rapiers, 250 for the shields, 950 gold?
Indeed. Because you're buying in bulk, I will give you a discount.
Oh, that is remarkable. This craftsmanship is so good. I feel like I am almost robbing you. Tell me, I know the value of coin. Would you accept 1,000 gold? As an even 1,000? Just as for the sake of my gratitude for the quality of workmanship.
He will give a very dwarvish bow and say, indeed.
Oh, well then. Wonderful. Please, we had planned to have some guests over after the Millennial Games tomorrow, so we have prepared for a great feast. I have asked the cooks to go ahead and make preparations to prepare some of that food tonight. We will be another hour or so before the dinner is available. Servants will show you upstairs to the guest accommodations. You may go and take your leisure. Has anyone of you been into Junun City before?
No.
No, you have not. Oh, it is the grandest city in all of the world, Junun City. Would any of you care for a small guided tour of the noble quarter this evening?
What is in the noble quarter?
Oh, well, only the wealthiest and most elegant of the citizens of Junun City, and tonight is a very special night. There will be fireworks in the air tonight on the eve of King Suleiman's millennial celebration. May he reign for another 1,000 years. It is a wonderful time to be a noble in the city. Prosperity is up. We are looking at this beautiful new monument that King Suleiman has erected. It has been a bit of a strain with the servants and the slaves all being conscripted to work on that. But tonight we are celebrating because at midnight, all of the slaves have a free day. And then the day after the Millennial Games, they will be back to working in our homes where they belong. This is a wonderful time. I am very lucky that because of my relationship with the palace, I have been able to retain a portion of my staff to keep my household going. Some of my neighbors have not been quite so fortunate. Some of them have only been able to keep their own manservant or maidservant, but I have been able to keep most of my household staff, including my household guard. It is a beautiful thing, but after we dine, I would be happy to show you around some of the streets, and we can watch some of the fireworks from the rooftops of some of my home or some of the other nobles, and they will all have wine, and they will have sweet or savory snacks that they have created for the guests that will come in and go out during the evening. And you need not worry. The city guards are at the entrances to the merchant quarter, or at the entrances to the noble quarter, so we will not be bothered by any of the riffraff of the common folk coming into the noble quarter tonight during the celebration.
I suppose some of them may want to go out. I am not comfortable out and about.
Yes, you mentioned you come from the village. The crowds can be quite imposing for people that are not used to them. Very well. Please make yourselves comfortable. I am going to go check on the preparations in the kitchen. If you will excuse me. And he goes and he takes his leave, and then some servants come, and they lead you into this area here, which is the grand central stairway, going upstairs. Upstairs, which is not necessarily depicted on a map, so we will just go back over here. This area. All right. So you all have been invited. You all have been invited to dine here tonight, and then after dinner, if anybody wants to go see some of the city. At least here in the noble quarter. The that probably means that at least Badraan himself will be going out with anyone that accompanies him. There's also going to be some celebrations, and then he has invited you all to come with him in the morning when he goes to the stadium for the Millennial Games. So, and obviously, he seems to take it as a given that you would not pass up a chance to sit in the nobles' boxes for such a festive event.
I'm kind of questioning, though, because I know that moles were pretty much bred to be servants and slaves, and that's what I'm dressed up as.
He probably takes you for a one of the artisans that is part of this merchant caravan. And they're just as in any culture that has slavery, there are different kinds of slaves. There's the slaves that really are kind of unskilled labor and menial tasks. There are other slaves that are skilled artisans. It still doesn't change the fact that they are treated like slaves, but in the eyes of the slave owners, they are much more valuable and treated much better, in as much as anybody that doesn't have the freedom to choose what they do, when they do it, and how they do it can be considered to be well treated.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, it's just kind of one of those things that I'm just like, I've played Dark Sun before, and I played a mole that was basically that was the thing, is they were bred to be basically slaves. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and there's some influences here from Dark Sun, but it's not a 1-to-1.
Okay.
Not a 1-to-1 correlation, because it is also kind of influenced by the Arabian Nights. Okay. But yeah, you would be considered probably one of the artisans of the merchant caravan. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you all have a little bit of time away from your host if you want to kind of plan. I know there were a couple of ideas thrown around last week, talking about obviously you've come into the city with your guys as merchants. There was also some sort of little side things that a couple of you wanted to do. I think one person had thrown out the idea of possibly trying to find where one of the camps for the soldiers was, and maybe put something in that food that would sicken them. I don't know if you guys want to make any planning for that. And then obviously you need to decide what you're going to do in the morning when he expects you to go with him to the games. And talk about that a little bit. So you guys can go ahead and discuss any of that.
Wasn't one of the plans there was like a passageway under this house that leads directly into the...
That is the plan of the of your allies, the Veiled Alliance allies, and there's a few of those guys with you. That team appears to be made up of another 5 individuals. They're in this merchant party with you.
Okay.
They all appear to be either humans or rook elves. those tall, skinny elves.
Gotcha.
We're alone right now.
There's 2 large guest suites. You guys are kind of in one of those guest suites on the upper level. The Veiled Alliance people are in the other guest suite, but you can invite them over to your suite if you want to talk with them, or if you want to plan amongst yourselves first, that's fine. It's up to you.
Galibar would want to run something past the party. So he would say, I have an idea. When we were in Kamigawa, I did manage to get a few ogre-sized weapons made out of metal. I wonder if it would be possible to get a couple of those famous guards, the ogre ones, on our side.
You mean bribe them?
Yes.
Now, out of character, the ogre guards were the ones that were at the gates?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And presumably they are deployed at various areas throughout the city as well.
Okay.
Yes. I have a ogre sword taken from the villainous ogre, and a spear taken from the bloodthirsty ogre.
Those would definitely be exotic weapons.
Yes, but how loyal are these guys to him? That's my biggest fear, is that we try to bribe them and we get double-crossed.
Everybody make me an intelligence check. This is because of there was something that was mentioned in your meeting with the Veiled Alliance before.
I've pulled a nat.
Wow. Okay.
Out of all of the characters to roll high, it's freaking Galibar.
Well, Galibar would definitely remember.
Well, my system has decided to suddenly slow its butt way down.
We're doing a intelligence
check, yeah. Not a saving throw, just a check.
Oh no, shite.
Enka is very distracted.
Are those bed sheets made out of satin?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Either that or looking out the window going, oh my god, this place is weird.
Wow.
Okay. Adamant remembers. Adamant remembers something important about the ogre guards, but Galibar and Oyohusa, you all both recall the reason that these ogres were selected as guards for the city is that their race naturally has no psionic capabilities. And that means that the Templars and the Sorcerer King are able to more easily control and manipulate them through psionics. Now, you don't know the extent of that. You don't know whether that's like where there's psionic conditioning or brainwashing or anything, but kind of like if you were ever facing off with, against a Templar or against the Sorcerer King, and some of these ogres were there, your opponent could probably manipulate them in such a way to use them against you.
Yikes.
So that that's what you guys remember. Translation Galibar is that it might make the ogres like you better, but if somebody who has the ability to use silent control gets a hold of them, it doesn't matter whether they like you or not, they're still going to be able to turn them against you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
However, if the king is dead, then bribing the ogres at that point might make them much more disposed to protect you in the aftermath of any kind of chaos that ensues. Because obviously, you guys know when the king is dead, power vacuum. And then everybody that wants to try to gain power for themselves starts fighting against each other. At that point, it might be nice to have some people on your side. So it's probably not a bad idea, Galibar, but it may not be a good idea to do it while the king is still alive.
Okay.
That's what Galibar and Oyohusa would think.
Enka wouldn't have a freaking clue. Hello.
Well, I mean, once people start talking about it, Enka would probably say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Enka's plenty smart. It's just, like we said, she was distracted by something.
Yeah. Oh, shiny.
I bet. In addition to, are these sheets satin? It's kind of like, I can't believe there's so many people here.
Yeah.
This is a big city. I mean, she's been in Waterdeep, so she knows big cities, but still, she's always a little anxious when she gets into big cities.
Oh yeah, being the countrified girl she is.
Yeah, I mean that's why she wanted to go find that place to build their stronghold outside of Waterdeep instead of somewhere within Waterdeep.
Exactly.
All right.
Anyway, all right.
So that's one idea.
Our big thing to worry about is he wants us to go with the games with him tomorrow.
Say that again, Adamant. My brain just did not function on half of your words. I'm sorry.
Our big problem is he wants us to go with the games with him in the morning.
Oh. Well, I mean, I can always go with him and basically be a distraction on this side.
The problem with that is, while the games are going on, we're supposed to be going to the
that's
Ziggurat.
Right. Is there any way that we could claim that we have been invited by a different group of travelers or caravan people that we hadn't seen in a while, so we're gonna go hang out with them to talk shop?
One of you would have to do that particular deception.
She looks at Oyohusa. I mean, it's plausible, we're a caravan. We travel a lot, and we come across to other groups of traders and other caravans at some point in time, I'm sure. And as we were exploring or something this evening, we come across some old acquaintances from our travels, and at that point in time, then we simply state, we appreciate the offer to sit with the nobles, but we had some unfinished business from the last time that we were with this. We had met up with this other caravan, and we would like to sit with them as we watch the festivities, as we continue to conduct business or pick up where we left off, kind of thing. Sound like something feasible? That we greatly appreciate the offer of the wonderful offer that they've given us. However, it's very rare that we get the chance to see this other group.
That could work if the right person says it.
And again, she looks at Oyohusa.
He looks at Oyohusa as well.
I think it will be all right.
But you would have to possibly disappear this evening or, whatever. And then that way when you come back or whatnot in the morning before you leave, that's when you make the claim of, as I was out last night exploring, I ran across, XYZ, and we appreciate the offer, but since we only see them very rarely, we want to continue our business that we had begun, our trade deal that we had begun X number of moons ago or whatever.
All
but
right.
We will see them again after the festivities, etc.
I still need to prepare. I will have to infiltrate the compound to poison the guards' food supply.
And if memory serves, you were planning to do that just around the time they're doing the guard change from the overnight to the morning guard, so that you would...
So you wouldn't be here then.
You would get the food supply for both the guards that are getting ready to go on to duty and the guards that are coming off duty. Do I remember that correctly, Ken? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, if we were going to assail the Ziggurat at that time, then that would be the time for me to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a poison that will probably start to take effect within like an hour or two. So that would be enough time for all of those people to eat, and then about the time the people start getting on duty, that's about the time that their illness would be coming upon them, and then the overnight, about the time they are turning in to get their sleep cycle, that's when they would start to begin to be hit by that. So effectively, presuming there's 3 shifts of guards around the city, essentially 2/3 of the guards would be at least debilitated during that time, and the third shift would be sort of spread thin, trying to cover everything else, presuming that it works, or at least the guards within one district of the city. And that would be the other thing. Looking at the map of the city. So let me go ahead and bring us back to the city map. Thinking of how this city is laid out, Oyo, if you were going to try to affect the guards in one district of the city, considering that there's probably going to be guard camps at different places around the city, and you could probably get to only one of them, would you want to do that more like over here in the artisans district, or over in the merchant district, or over in the slave district? Or would you want to push your luck and do that over here closer towards the palace district?
What would I think would be the most impactful? Is a good question. Given the knowledge that I have available to me, or I've had available.
Probably from the ease. If you're thinking, it kind of depends on whether you're thinking the ease of you guys getting out if something goes wrong, or if you're thinking of the ease of supporting a successful revolt if the people think that something, if something bad starts to happen to the people. For you guys getting out, it would probably be somewhere over here by the merchant district, because if you could disable a lot of the guards here, it would make it much easier for you to get back out of the district and out of the city. If you wanted to support the people, then probably somewhere over here in the slave area, or alternately in the artisans district, on one side or the other, near where the Ziggurat and the stadium meet each other. Because you, let's see, come on here. You're going to have your choice of several different, basically guard camps. One guard camp is like right here. One guard camp is over here. One guard camp is over in this area. One guard camp is kind of over in this area here. And then there are two guard camps that are in the palace district. One is over here, and one is over here.
Which one could I hit that would actually be the most impactful as far as like, obviously if let's say I pulled one camp and all these guards are heavily affected and they're pretty much immobile.
Yeah.
Then they're going to have to, somebody in the chain of command at a higher level is going to be like, oh shit, we need to pull guards from somewhere else. Where would that probably be?
Yeah, okay. If you hit one of the guard camps in the palace district, with a dictatorial king, they would probably consider protecting the king more important than protecting anything else. So if you hit one of these two, it's going to cause them to pull guards from these other areas as well, and thin out their ranks. If you, for instance, did guards here, then they might pull from here and here, but it wouldn't affect any of the guards inside the palace area.
What is it feasible for me? Let's say I hit here, and then on my way back, I maybe hit one of these two. Would it be feasible for me to hit to at least two, or am I only going to have time to hit one?
That probably is a function of your rolls.
Got it.
If you have really good rolls, such that there's no suspicion at all, from the first place, then you may have time to hit a second one. And then if you have like super good rolls, you might even have time to hit a third one on your way back. But I don't. Also the more, I'm going to say, if you hit 2 places, you can have the same amount of effect. If you try to save enough to hit 3 guard camps, it's going to probably be a little bit of a lesser percentage of the guards that are impacted, because you're diluting the amount of toxins that you put in each one.
I'm going to plan to hit this one.
Okay.
Which should have a good effect in that area. It either have to pull from here or it has to pull from here, and then I will affect that one. So it's kind of like this triangle, like it's a damned if they do, damned if they don't in this whole quadrant.
Okay. In terms of our scale, let me just make sure that I have done this correctly.
But it doesn't matter. Even if I tried to do this camp, it wouldn't totally knock out our... I mean, we'd still meet resistance trying to get into the Ziggurat, is basically what you're saying, because they'll pull guards from other areas to cover.
You won't necessarily hit any resistance in the Ziggurat because you're going through that tunnel. And it's only if that if there are guards in that tunnel. Those would be the only ones that you'd have to deal with. So yes, you're.
All right.
Well,
I changed my mind. Then I'll hit both these palace camps, and that should really just like.
Okay. All right.
Cripple.
Okay. And the members of the Veil Alliance should probably be able to give you some information about what kind of gates there might be into the palace district, what that wall is like, and what sort of defenses there are. So if you want to talk to them about that.
Adamant will hand one of his immovable rods over to Oyo. This might come in handy.
Oh, if you need to climb something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or hold something in one of his immovable rods.
Oh, okay.
Hold something open, hold something closed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Adamant. I appreciate it.
Well, we need you to come back in one piece.
I should be all right. Trained almost all my life for such things.
You know what they say about the plans. That's all this on the head. Gives him a blessing of Moradin.
Okay, so let's take a look at. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I just was looking at a statistic. Okay. I think Oyo will be in good shape. All right. So that is your guys' discussion amongst yourselves. We'll say that as you finish up your discussion, Badraan, one of the servants comes and invites you all down to dinner. And when you get down to the main dining room in Badraan's home, you thought that that Sinbad had an extravagant spread, but this guy is much more. This guy's spread is much more elegant. There are all kinds of roasted meats and vegetables. Some of the roasted meats are served kind of with the entire carcass of the animal, the way it has been cooked. Kind of if you've ever gone to like a pig roast, where they like roast the entire pig and then they sort of splay open part of the carcass so that people can get cuts of meat and stuff like that off of it. But these are different kinds of creatures, some that you have never seen before. They do have a roasted timbo that is a centerpiece. So one of those monsters that you guys fought in the desert of time, that had those crazy psionic abilities that nearly killed Galibar. They have the head, or they serve, and they actually have the head of one of those curd ape creatures that you guys fought. Yes, it is served and then on a platter, and then somebody pulls off the top of the skull and the cranial cavity. The brain is in there, but it has been prepared with some vegetables and spices and some other things like that, and it's been kind of cut up into chunks so that you can scoop out chunks of brain matter, as well as chunks of vegetables and other types of broth that are in there with it. There's then an entire table that is filled with all kinds of vegetables, many more vegetables than you've ever seen in this place before. And there are leafy vegetables. There are savory sort of fruit type vegetables, and then there are some tuber type vegetables as well that are over there, and they're very colorful. So there's some vivid greens, bright yellow, orange, dark purple, some that are nearly white, and they are served. Some of them are served cooked, some of them are served chilled, and then there's a various number of sauces and dips and things like that that can be consumed along with those. So this is very much a treat for the senses. In terms of what there is to drink, there's obviously water, which is chilled, and there's even some ice that is there's a large container that has ice in it, and then there's 2 or 3 different kinds of wine. There's some spiced wine. There is some dark red, almost black wine, and then there's a very light pink, almost white wine that is served. And then there's all kinds of baked goods and things like that. There's breads and there's sweet cakes and stuff. So this guy has a big, huge spread, and he is a very congenial host. And you can tell some of the members of the Veiled Alliance, they're just like, this is really nice. And the food, for those of you who eat, obviously the food tastes very good. Adamant, when you come down for the feast, how do you play off the fact that Adamant doesn't eat?
He will say, I have a medical condition. I can't eat actual food. I have to take special medicine. It has all the nutrients that I need. He pulls out one of his jars.
And Badraan says, "Oh, that is terrible. Well, tomorrow is of course the Millennial Games, but on the day after the games, I have an appointment at the palace. Perhaps I can take you with me to the palace, and one of King Suleiman's healers might be able to examine you and see if they have a cure for this condition."
We shall see. We have a rather tight schedule.
Ah, well, I am very sad that you are not able to sample this, but as they say, that leaves more for me. And he then looks around, and the rest of you partake of any or all of the
I partake
feast.
of the vegetables and fruits and stuff, and steer clear of some of the meat.
Okay.
No chilled monkey brains for me, thank you. Or eyeball soup.
All right. So after the dinner, Badraan is interested to know whether anyone wants to go and partake in his or join him for a walkabout in the nobles' quarter.
Yes, I would truly like to. Are there shops that are open this late?
Oh, no. There are no shops. Not open. And as of midnight, there will be no shops open until the end of the Millennial Games. Except, of course, for the souvenir shops at the stadium itself. But most of the things that will be given to attendees will be gifts from our benevolent King Suleiman to his beloved subjects.
I see. Well, I will still go with.
Okay. Does anybody else want to go through the city with Enka and Badraan?
Adamant kind of looks over at Galibar. Perhaps you should go with her.
Okay.
All right. And let me see. Let me make a quick. I'm gonna do 8. Okay. Those of you. All right. So that would be Oyo, Adamant, Enka. Oyo, Adamant, and Enka. All three of you notice during, when Badraan extends this invitation, you notice a subtle sort of finger sign that is sent to Oyohusa and to Adamant specifically, that from members of the Veiled Alliance that they would like to speak with you as soon as Badraan leaves.
Adamant just gives the slightest of nods.
Okay. And it doesn't seem like any of the servants or your host noticed that. But with your passive perceptions, you picked it up. And Enka, you know that was not, that you saw that, but you saw it was clearly aimed at both Adamant and Oyohusa and not at you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
kind of.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and we will start with Oyo and Adamant. Badraan takes several of his household guard, who are now decked out in their new weapons and shields, and he tells Galibar and Enka that to not be surprised if some of the other nobles ask about their wares, because he intends to kind of show this off to some of his neighbors. So he's very glad that some of you have decided to accompany him. And so you all head off, and then Adamant and Oyo, everybody is led back upstairs, and when you get to your suite and the servants leave, it's just a few moments before a couple of the members of the Veiled Alliance come into your suite. And they say, my friends, we must speak about tomorrow morning.
What have you got on your mind?
One of them. The two people who come in are a gentleman named Mastur. And a woman named Aquila. Mastur and Aquila. Talk to in Oyo at the house. Right. They say we had anticipated that our host would probably invite us to go to the games with them, and it is obvious that, of course, we cannot go. Did you have any thoughts on how we could get out of that invitation without arousing too much suspicion?
Pressing business with other merchants is probably the best excuse.
And they look at each other and they nod and they say, okay, then that means that our plan is plan B. If he insists on us going, we slit his throat, overpower his guards, and conceal the bodies in the house before we go into the tunnel.
That might be a smidge drastic.
Well, it would not do to have him arouse suspicions, saying that his house guests did not accompany him to the games. From what we have understood, attendance at these games is mandatory. If there is a thought that anyone is not attending the games, it will send people to start looking for them.
Well, then we can say we're meeting our fellow merchants at the games. They have their own seats, and they have for us.
But he will certainly want us to at least accompany him as far as the stadium.
We have to meet them in the bazaar.
So we would accompany him as far as the bazaar, and then you are thinking we would double back?
Yes.
And they look at Oyohusa and they just kind of nod and they say, "You seem to be the type that could easily conceal yourself in a crowd." But then they look at Adamant and they say, "You, however, how good are you at sneaking?"
Just kind of shifts a bit. I have already put down that my health is not well. I can simply use that as an excuse to stay.
And they look at each other and they say, "Badraan will have a noble's box. A noble's box will be outfitted for bearers to bring a litter. If you say that you do not feel well, I'm almost certain that Badraan will offer to have bearers carry you in a litter. In an elegant sedan chair, as it was, and have you seated in a place of honor in his box." You see, this is what it means when the king says something is mandatory. It is indeed mandatory. Merely trying to think of what can we do. Do you have any means of, let's say, disappearing from sight? So that you can move around without...
I do not. What I can do... Can I rub this chin? Where is this tunnel at?
The tunnel is in the basement of this house.
Do you know exactly where it is?
We do have a good idea, yes.
Tell me where it is. What I can do is tell him that I intend to leave early in the morning. And I will meet him there.
Oh, you wish to go earlier, ahead of time. Okay.
Yes. And I will, in the night, while everybody is asleep, I will creep down into the tunnels. and wait for you there.
Okay. All right. So you will inform him tonight that you will leave early, perhaps to show some of the wares that you will have available for sale on the day after the games. Yes. There. That will be a way of... Yes, that will be a way. He will... That will appeal to his vanity. Good. Since he can tell everyone he was the first to buy your wares.
Indeed.
Okay. Very good.
And when everybody's asleep, I will go down to the tunnel.
Okay. They will give you a thumbnail sketch. They know from their contact that when you get down to the basement, you travel to the west from the stairs, so basically straight ahead at the bottom of the basement, and there is a storage closet, and that storage closet has a secret entrance, a trapdoor on the floor that goes down into the tunnel.
All right. Adamant looks over at Oyohusa. Oyohusa, I'm going to need you to tell a little lie. Mine's not much of a lie, really. Say, when I leave to go to my room for an early night, perhaps warn him that I sleepwalk, and that it is a very bad idea to wake me up while I'm asleep.
All right, I can do that.
Perhaps give him some story of people who have done that and ended up at a doctor. I will let you embellish as you will.
Okay, out of character, I'm telling who again?
The gentleman who is out with Galibar and
Enka
right now. The owner of the house.
Okay.
That way, nobody will disturb me, and I tend to walk like I'm sleepwalking anyway. Just kind of shrugs.
And, all right. So they say, okay, good. Now, should any of that plan go awry, can we count on you if we have to launch our backup plan?
If that goes awry, I don't think you'll have to launch your backup plan.
Oh, okay. So you intend to have no witnesses either way?
If I must. If they attack me, I will handle myself.
Good. All right. We certainly don't question your capability. Just want to make sure that you have filled so many people's minds and hearts with the notion of this creator, Moradin, that you follow. Just want to make sure that nothing would prevent you from doing what is necessary.
Oh, one of our tenets is to deal with enemies as we need to. So there's no worries there. We are not peacemongers.
Okay. Good. Because I don't know if you heard, but it certainly sounds like this, our host is a loyalist to King Suleiman, which makes him our enemy.
Indeed.
Very good. And you, Oyohusa, all the plans that you have, are they in place? Is there any way we can help you with anything?
I mean, out of character, do I still need to get a big vial of that stuff, or?
I thought that was stuff that you guys took care of in the city during the time before you left. I mean, in the village, before you left to come here. Yeah.
No, I believe that it's a bit of a one-man operation, if you know what I mean. You could let me know maybe a good route to... I'm thinking of hitting the 2 guard stations in the palace districts. So perhaps some intel on that would be in order.
Well, there is one gate on either side of the stadium to get into the palace district. And they pull out one of their maps that they have, and they say, one of those entrance gates is here, and the other one is here. And the guard camp is just inside those gates, in a very posh and elegant-looking warehouse that is set aside for the guards. You can attempt to get through the gates, although they are probably going to be closed as of midnight and will probably not reopen until the end of the day tomorrow. As for the wall itself, the wall is merely stone. There are towers every 50 feet or so along the wall. If you are good with climbing, it probably would not be too difficult to climb. King Suleiman has a weakness for liking his stone edifices to look natural. So the wall is more or less natural sandstone, which lends ease for climbing. But of course, there are guards atop the walls, and the guards in the towers watch the ground. If you are quiet, it is less likely that they will notice anything on the wall until you reach the top and go over to the other side.
Well, with that in mind, he pulls out a second immovable rod and holds it out to Oyo. Take 2.
And call me in the morning.
That one I want back.
I'll bring them both back.
Oh, I have 3. I don't know why, but you keep one, I want the other one back. So you'd best come back.
Okay. All right. So that means that when Oyohusa goes, he doesn't have to make climb checks and stealth checks. The only thing he has to make is stealth checks. So that takes care of one thing. He says, and then they say, as for getting from one of those towers to the other, it is very likely that preparations will be going on in the stadium during the night. So might be able to cut through the stadium from dealing with one guard camp to the other. Otherwise, the only way to get from one guard camp to the other is to go all the way through the Palace District the long way around, and that would be a bit more difficult. The interior walls that surround the palace itself are much more tightly guarded, and from what we understand, there are magical wards on those. So it would be more difficult to go through the palace district from one side to the other than it would be to come back out of the palace district and go through the stadium and back over the other wall.
I am surprised I didn't ask what are the rods.
They kind of, if it's something that helps, that you guys think is helpful, they know enough that you guys are just sort of above and beyond what their experience is. They're kind of like, okay.
Adamant kind of looks at them, pulls up the third rod, holds it up. See the rod?
Yes.
He pushes the button and lets it go, and it stays put.
Well, that is remarkable. How does it stay in the air?
It's simple yet powerful magic. Try to move it.
And reach out and grab it, and then, they tug on it, and obviously nothing happens.
It's like and I need to move it a foot.
Yeah, their eyes widen, and then they put a second hand on it, and then they start to really pull on it and pull on it and pull on it, and then one of them just kind of wraps an arm sort of around it and lifts themselves off the floor and just kind of tries to bounce on it and yank on it, and it just doesn't budge. And they're like,
it's now become something that they're laughing hysterically about. Hey, let me try.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody trying to lift Thor's hammer at the party.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam will just simply reach out, take a hold of it, and push the button again, and put it away. It's a simple item, yet very effective.
You say simple, and they're like, simple, right?
What he'll be able to do with that is he'll be able to climb the walls without leaving any trace of his climbing. Technically, he does not even need to climb the wall. He just climb up in the air.
Indeed, but if he climbs in the air away from the wall, a person rising in the middle of the air would draw more attention than...
I said he could, not that he would.
And then one of them will ask Oyohusa if you can sort of show him or show her. No, who is it talking to you? Mastur, the gentleman, will ask you if you can show him the different robes that you brought with you to Junun City, and he will point out the one that is most closely matches the color of the wall. So he says, if you use this one, you will be harder for anyone to detect as you scale the wall. And then he says, all right. Your friends. They are just. They are out enjoying the evening with our host.
Yes.
Good. Well, they take their leave, and then we will switch over to Galibar and Enka. So, Galibar and Enka, you are out in the city, and this is a. Let's see. Okay. There's a lot of activity in the streets, even though the sun has gone down. Lots of people, nobles dressed kind of in their finest silks and linens, and having their very flashy jewels and everything on. They are out wandering around in the streets, and most of the houses that you pass by have the main doors and gates open, and there are house guards standing by either of the gates, but people are walking into and out of those gates and doors without really being challenged. And you can see as people are walking out of some of these houses or gates, oftentimes they are carrying little plates that have some kind of food on them, or they're carrying cups or crystal glasses that have wine or something like that in them, and they seem to just sort of be going from house to house and socializing. And Badraan takes you along this area, and he points out the nobles and tells you a little bit about the lineage of this particular family, or he'll tell you a little bit about the lineage of that particular family. And he is happy to just sort of drone on and on and on until and unless either of you have any questions for him.
Galibar would ask, there's something I was wanting to know. Is there any, say, goods or anything that is only made in this city?
Oh, yes. Well, Junun has the finest ironsmiths in all of the world. Now, of course, for the last year or two, the ironsmiths have been all but idled, as King Suleiman, in his wisdom, has seen it very important to put all of the efforts onto completing the Ziggurat. But I know that the day after tomorrow, the smelting furnaces will be fired up once again, and the hammers of the smiths will ring out. You will not find any finer steel anywhere in the world than you will that comes out of the weaponsmiths and armorsmiths of Junun City. And he says that with a sense of pride.
Galibar a little happy that all of his weapons are in his bag of holding, so he's not literally covered in metal weapons. Because that would be awkward.
Yeah.
But he after the man says that, he just smirks a little, because he's going to be bringing more weapons than this place has probably made in a long time to the day after tomorrow.
Okay.
But because as soon as I finish this mission,
Yep.
After that, I guess he'll just continue on because he learned what he wanted to learn.
Enka will just be very careful, just watching everyone and everything. Just making it look like she's kind of some country bumpkin that's never been in a big city before, but she's gonna really try to make sure she's paying attention to the goings-ons here and there and what people are doing and talking about and whatever. So she's really pretty quiet. She's just kind of, she'll nod and occasionally answer if anybody asks her a question. They'll get the standard nod or, no, I've never seen anything like this, or wow, this is great, or whatever. But, she's not going to try to carry on a conversation at this time.
Okay.
So she's just trying to get a feel for the people, and especially the nobles. Watching, slaves, or if there are any, that kind of thing going on. How they act. All of that.
As you all walk through the city, or walk through the nobles' quarter, Badraan will eventually lead you towards one house, and this is a house that's a little bit larger than most of the others. And the wall outside, at least the wall that you're facing as you come up to it, seems to be a little bit higher and a little bit longer than even the wall that surrounds Badraan's own palace. And as you approach this, you guys can both give me a little bit of an insight check if you want to.
Sure.
Okay, Galibar, you seem to sense that as he's approaching this place, Badraan is getting a little bit happier, and Enka, you get the sense of somebody approaching a rival. Getting ready to gloat.
Gotcha.
And so, indeed, as you get up to this house, he says, "Oh, you must join me. Come in and meet Sheikh Mustaba Al-Saman. Now, Sheikh Mustaba, he and his family, they control all of the sandstone production in Junun, and that accounts them as among the most wealthy of all the merchants. But even his household guard cannot boast weapons that are made from giant tortoiseshell. I can't wait to see his eyes when he sees the swords and the shields that my guards that are accompanying us tonight bear. Mm-hmm. We will show him, and he may pay you much more than I did just to get some of the weapons and shields into the hands of his household guard. This could be a great opportunity for you." And so he brings you in. And there, the house is opulent. It has 3 stories, and there's these enormous sandstone columns that rise up from the ground floor and support wide balconies on the 2nd and 3rd level of the house. And there are people milling around on those balconies and whatnot. And as you walk into the main hall, there's all kinds of statuary and everything around. And this place has a very gaudy decor. All of the statues that are in here are life-size statues. They are statues of humans and elves and dwarves, and dwarves from this world and elves from this world, and nearly all of them are completely or partially nude. The statues are, and they're they are all posed in kind of romantic poses, if you will. So this person apparently is very preoccupied.
He's a romantic.
Yes. And there is a man. He's probably the largest human that you have seen since you've been in this world. Sinbad likes to eat. Sinbad is maybe 6 feet, 6'3", 6'4", something like that, and probably close to or well over 250 pounds. So he's a pudgy, stocky, heavy guy. But the man who is at the center and apparently the host of this house, he is probably around 6'7" or 6'8", and he is probably well over 300 pounds. He's very, very rotund, and he has silk robes that just sort of drape and hang off of him. And he's got all kinds of golden chains that are that have gems and jewels on them that are draped around his neck, and the turban that he wears with the piece that hangs down behind it, it also has thread of gold woven into it, and jewels sparkle in that. And he looks up and he says, Senator Badraan. And then he looks at the guards with him. He says, Badraan, what is this? What is this? And Badraan just has this very oily smile. And he says, oh, Sheikh Mustaba, it is so wonderful to see you. Your house looks elegant. Everything is wonderful. I had to bring my friends to meet you. These are two excellent friends of mine, the Honorable Galibar and the lovely Enka. And they, along with their colleagues, have supplied my household guards with these beautiful giant tortoiseshell weapons and shields that you see. And the Sheikh says, I do not believe it. And you can give me another insight check, if you will. Oh, yeah. Both of you, it is plain to see the jealousy on this guy's face. It's like this guy has better arms and armor for his household guards than I do. Like, I have been one-upped. And so, this is clearly, these two guys clearly have this kind of Rivalry, exactly.
Can Galibar lean in and whisper something to the man?
Do you want to try to whisper something to him so that your host doesn't hear?
Yes.
You could make a what would that be? That wouldn't exactly be a sleight of hand, but I guess it'd just make a stealth check to see if you can do that without being noticed.
Wow, that's
wow, Galibar. Yes, you definitely succeed. So what do you want to tell him?
Galibar will whisper to him, "Come by our stall the day after tomorrow, and I can supply you with even better weaponry for your people."
And he looks at you, and his eyes twinkle, and he says, he says, "Well, I am so happy that you are here, Senator." And he kind of reaches out and just kind of gives a little pat on Galibar's shoulder and gives you a little wink. And he says, "This is wonderful. You must come to the top balcony with me tonight and watch the fireworks display. Please say that you will." And Badraan says, "Oh, of course I will. I will come up." And he says to his guards, he says, "Please feel free to mingle and circulate. Enjoy yourselves." And so it's clear they're walking off, and as you see them start to walk off into the crowd, you see a lot of people, especially some very well-dressed people. They're given an eagle eye to those shields and the hilts of those rapiers, and some of them will even stop some of the guards and start talking to them. And then your host, the Sheikh, will lead you up the stairs, and about the time he gets halfway up to the first landing, he's kind of puffing and blowing a little bit because, clearly this is a guy that is a bit too heavy for his own good. And but he manages to make it all the way to the top of the third floor without faltering. And then he leads you out to the balcony. And his balcony overlooks the city and has a beautiful view of the top three terraces of the Ziggurat. And beyond the Ziggurat, you can see the spires of the palace, which just are standing up there. They have this kind of metallic look to them, like they are almost kind of golden. And of course, the entire city is lit with like there are large areas, large plazas that have big celebratory bonfires in them. And so that glow of those fires just sort of radiates around everything. And you can see the various colors of the Ziggurat rising up there into the night sky. And so several of the other nobles will come around, and you get a sense, you get introduced to a couple of other sheikhs, and there's 2 or 3 other senators that are introduced as well. So this guy is very well connected in terms of the noble quarter. And after you've been there maybe a half hour, you start to hear some people go, "Oh, and you look out beyond the Ziggurat and beyond the palace, and the fireworks are starting. And the fireworks display, it's like a great sort of New Year's Eve or Independence Day fireworks display. There's no musical accompaniment that you can hear, but there's a lot of different colors of the fireworks, and it goes on and on, maybe for a half hour or whatnot. Is there anything that any questions you guys have for any of the people, or anything you wanted to talk to with any of the folks around here during this time?
Other than just minor chit chat, as people ask, because obviously Galibar and I probably stick out like sore thumbs. Being merchants,
Yeah. Yeah, they and questions really aren't directed to you. Badraan positions you in such a way that it's clear to the others that you all are his guests. And so the questions generally go to him as opposed to you. And you oftentimes hear him refer to you as his personal weapons merchants, or his personal armor merchants. The more people ask, the more entitled he feels to kind of emphasize that there's a special relationship between your merchant group and him.
Gotcha. Then she'll pretty much just keep her mouth shut because she's here to watch.
Okay. All right. You do overhear, especially Enka with her passive perception of 17, she will overhear from time to time little snippets of conversation between some of the nobles that say that they're very glad that the Ziggurat is finally finished and that the games will be over soon, because some of them complain about how little they have been able to do in their household with most of the servants gone. Or most of the slaves gone, and they really don't refer to their household staffs. They refer to their household staff for the most part as slaves.
Gotcha.
And that they some of them say that the Sheikh has been so fortunate to be able to keep so many of his slaves in his home during this time, and there's clearly an undercurrent of jealousy, of the kind of favor that he must have with the king in order to be able to pull that off. And of course that was a similar thing from Badraan as well. So you kind of get the sense that these two guys, part of their rivalry extends all the way up to, the favor of the king. And so it's like that's the kind of mindset that these guys have.
Okay. I just try to make sure I note which nobles are grumbling a little more about having their servants go missing than the others, or ones that might sound a little more disgruntled than others.
When they are, there's kind of a visual sense that you get at this party There are at least that Enka can distinguish at least 3 different clear castes, if you will, among these nobles.
Mm-hmm.
There's the ones that seem to be kind of inner circle nobles, which would probably include the Sheikh and Senator Badraan. And then there are others who probably have a good relationship with the palace and the king, but not necessarily a close relationship. And they, visually, you can tell they're a little bit of a step down because they don't have quite so many jewels or, you know, on their outfits, and their clothing, while it is all new and very fine and probably was tailor-made for this event, it is not quite as fancy as the robes that the inner circle people have. And then there are the nobles that, the ones that grumble are the ones that, outside of this context, you would probably still call their clothing elegant. But when you see it in comparison to the other nobles, it's like a level of elegance that's a little bit down from that. Their clothing is a little plainer. It's a little older. It's certainly not stuff that has been specifically made just for this event. And you get a sense they kind of grumble a little bit, and then when they are not looking, the nobles in the castes higher than them, they kind of look down their noses at them and sort of titter to each other about, oh, aren't those people quaint?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's clearly a hierarchy there. But those lower nobles, they would fit right in with the nobility in a place like Waterdeep or things like that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not much different than what you've observed.
No, I'm just looking for potential, I don't want to say allies, but people that if you give them the right motivation, they'll be very happy to overthrow their quote-unquote betters.
Make me an investigation check.
Okay. Investigation.
It will send you a list. And this is going to be depending on how long the list is, what your result of your check is.
I got a 20.
It hadn't shown up yet, but you say 20. Yep. All right. Okay. Oh, come on here. What's going on? Stupid computer. Being a pain. You guys are still hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, come on.
Mm-hmm.
My browser suddenly being extremely slow. Switching tabs.
No.
No.
Not the browser.
All right. Well, you know what? That's a good time. Let me go ahead and call for a break now.
Okay.
We'll come back from break. We'll get you guys all back together, and then we'll see about finishing up the second half of our game. All right, everybody. DM's computer is being a little bit funky, so we're going to go to our break a few minutes early. I will put on the timer, and I'm not sure if this is going to cooperate to let me change the... Oh yeah, I think it will. Let me change the music. So, all right, and I will be back.
You'll be back.
I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to mute, and guys, remember you can chat here or you can move to the other off-stream channel to chat.
My head is doing terrible, terrible things. And I am not a fan.
Heather, are you there?
Here.
Jump up.
Hang on. Okay.
I just got such a dry crack from my shoulder.
Oh, Pete, are you brewing coffee over there?
No. My head is killing me, though.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
They're still in the off-stream chat.
Okay. I need to get our Need to get our
Players.
soundscape set up again. All right. Welcome back, everybody, and come on. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Looks like most of the issues are resolved. There was one of the tabs apparently that had to be refreshed, and that got everything going again. Okay, over here. So we'll let those guys know we're getting back going. Viewers, we appreciate you joining us today. All right, so at Enka or okay, come on. All right, there we go. All right. Heather, I sent you a message with a list of several names. Those are some of the nobles that seem to be a little bit in that third tier.
Gotcha. The ones that are definitely not happy.
Exactly. With the status quo.
Yeah.
The fireworks go on for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then that ends with a big fanfare, big huge display, with the entire, it seems like the entire horizon of the sky beyond the palace is lit up with the fireworks. And then as those fade from view, people begin to take their leave and the party begins to thin out. And it's not too long before Badraan makes his farewells, definitely feeling like he has scored a 1-up on his rival at this party, and he leads you all back to his estate in a very jolly mood indeed.
So, since he is in a jolly mood,
yeah,
I want to try to ask some very vague questions to start. Just casual conversation now that we've seen the quote-unquote other side about this rich person, and has he, what's he like and what don't you like about him, and or not so much, or how did you two meet, and have there been issues between you before in the past, and just chit chat, trying to make it so that since he's in a happy mood, he's going to talk about this rival, thus giving me an insight. I'm basically trying to find out if they have any type of psionic abilities, or I'm not going to come out and ask directly, but I'm going to kind of ask for stories or things that they've squabbled over or had issues with each other in the past, kind of stuff. Make sense?
Yes. With the circumspect way that you are asking these questions, it comes out that the rivalry boils down to some approvals for pet projects that they have been granted by King Suleiman. Your host, he is a dealer in the trade of uncut gemstones. So he deals with those, and he has been able to make several sales and make several deals directly with the palace, which, of course, he's very proud of that, and proud of the fact that King Suleiman has personally bought items from him.
Okay.
However, his rival, the Sheikh, has, by being sort of in control of the sandstone market, he is able to get a fair number of contracts directly with the palace, and has actually done some expansions and renovations on some older parts of the palace, which he always sort of lords over all of his rivals. That he actually does work for the king's palace.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of like two guys in the bar telling stories about, oh yeah, well,
one-upmanships.
Yeah, one-upmanship, and that it's when you boil it all down, it seems very petty, but it's the very petty nature of very rich and powerful people,
right?
That
So I'll also ask the merchant. So since he's obviously very proud of the gemstones and stuff that he's sold to the king, or the emperor, whatever you want to call him, I will ask him, like, so what's the biggest gem you've sold him?
Oh, I once was able to locate a ruby that was the size of my two fists put together.
Oh,
and
wow.
The king was looking for a piece in a bust that he was creating of one of his of one of the ancient heroes of Junun City, and we were able to provide that as a piece that goes in the neck of that bust. Of course, it is a very large head. You may see it tomorrow, or if you get a chance to go to the palace after the games, you may have a chance to see it. It's a beautiful head, 20 feet tall, and it's got a huge choker on it, and the very gem that is cut from that choker was the one that I found.
Gotcha.
I was able to.
Impressive.
Yes. One of the foremen in my mining company has a talent. He was able to sense that gemstone when we got close enough to it in the vein of ore we were following at the time.
Must be quite impressive to hold such beauty.
Oh,
even in its raw form.
Oh, it is, because in its raw form, as yet untouched, there's so much that can be made from it. The only drawback to having a final cut gem is that is the best and largest that it will ever be. Anything that is created from that will be but a fraction of it.
I see. Well, it sounds like it was put to some good use, though.
Oh, yes.
And so I'll continue with just general questions and whatnot. just fishing for data basically is all I'm doing, and just nothing in particular, just keeping him occupied.
You don't get any information about to help you confirm, his ability or his rival's ability, but he definitely, kind of gets comfortable enough talking to you because of your natural. Just let's do this. Make a persuasion check. This is just sort of a general persuasion check as you're talking to him. See how much you can get him to open up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. He's had something to drink and he's gotten one over on his rival. So yeah, he will, he will allow as how something he would love to see is he would love to see King Suleiman sort of use his power, and there's a very obvious capital P in the way he says power, so that Badraan could see the Sheikh humbled in the throne room before the king. And it would be wonderful to see him pressed to the floor by the king's power. He just thinks that would be the funniest thing in the world.
I smile and go, well, hopefully someday you will be rewarded with such a vision.
Oh, I hope so. May King Suleiman reign for another 1,000 years. And about that time, you're back at his estate. And you'll go in. Anything you guys want to talk about as a group before you all turn in for the night?
I will find a couple of the ones that came with us and kind of go over this list I've made in my head about nobles that are a bit disgruntled, to see if any of them would be worth approaching either during or after the possible conflict.
They won't come out or they will tell you that it's good to know that there are some among the nobility that might be amenable to a change in leadership. And make me another perception check as you go over these names with them. 16. You notice when you mention the names of Kaleem Al-Mawad, who is a noble whose family is in basically controls the silk trade, and Radwa Al-Salih, whose family is one of the copper merchants in the city. When you mention their names, you notice just the slightest bit of a smile in some of the people you're talking to, as if those people are known to them.
Gotcha. All righty. Well, then we'll just let it play out from there.
Okay.
Right. And Adamant is going to greet their host, basically run through what he said he was going to say. I I'm going to go out early in the morning to scout out the marketplace. I will have to meet you at the arena, the stadium.
Oh, you are. I see. You have talked with some of your friends that came to the party with me last night, and you are going to make some deals before the games. Very good, very good. I cannot fault you for that. There are many who are going to want the services that you offer. Lots of the other nobles were very jealous of my personal guard for having such fine weapons and shields. Ha ha ha. Play your cards right, and you all will be merchants that may have an opportunity to sell to the palace itself in the days after the game.
We can only hope. He looks over at Oyohusa. I will speak to you tomorrow.
Good night, my friend.
And Adamant will head off.
Okay. All right. So, go ahead.
After Adamant's been gone for a while, he'll go up to his host and he'll say, how was your trip into the city earlier?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. You should have seen the Sheikh. He was so jealous of the beautiful weapons and shields that my household guards have had. He always tries to one-up me, but this time I got him good.
Until the day after tomorrow, anyway.
I wanted to let you know, that way you're not alarmed, but my good friend Adamant, he, how do I say, sleepwalks, and it would be most unwise for you or any of your staff to disturb him when he's in that state of motion, if you will.
Oh, this is related to his illness or the medication.
Yes, this is true.
Yes. Say no more. I understand. Well, I will inform my household guards as long as as his sleepwalking does not take him into my private bedchamber. That should be. I don't suppose that would be an issue, but that would be the only place they would probably try to prevent him from going.
No, I do not imagine that would be a problem. It's kind of strange, but he likes to pray walk.
Pray walk?
Yes, it's unfortunately, some people they sleepwalk, but in his condition he pray walks.
Oh, that is most strange. Well, I will inform my staff so that they will just stay out of his way.
All right. Once again, I would like to extend a grateful appreciation for your hospitality.
Oh, my friends, it is my pleasure. The opportunity that you all gave me to see the look on the Sheikh's face this evening, that was worth every copper that I spent. Now, please, enjoy the evening. We have a long day tomorrow.
Is there a terrace or anything on this estate? Like, is there like a
A balcony or something?
Yeah. What's the time of day?
Yeah. It's probably at this point, those fireworks went off about midnight. So at this point, it's probably an hour after midnight. And yes, to answer your question, there is your suites have a balcony with big wide bay windows that you can and like French doors that you can open and walk out onto that balcony, and it overlooks part of the courtyard, and then it overlooks the wall out into the street, and you can see the other manor houses and estates around, and a lot of them still have some lights on inside. Some of them, all the lights are off, as though people are going to bed. But it's likely that on a night like this, there's going to be some houses where people are awake and celebrating all night.
What is so? It's later in the evening. I imagine there's still like fireworks and stuff going off, even like later into the night, right?
The big organized fireworks are done, but there are still celebrations and parties going on in the city. Yes, and there might be one noble or another noble might have a few fireworks, but it's not going to be anything close to the extravagance of the main fireworks display. But there's that whole thing. People are obviously, a lot of people have been going back and forth to houses of their neighbors in the nobles' quarter. By this time of the night, a lot of those people that may be out still carousing are probably quite drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, where would Ivy be in her room at this time of night?
Hello.
You mean Elora?
I'm sorry, Elora.
Currently, I'm still trying to piece together what is going on, so I can't really place Elora anywhere.
Okay. Somebody just send Ivy a quick IM. Let her know kind of what has happened, and Oyo, you can circle back to her after somebody has let her know.
Sorry.
Well, that's all right. So what else would Oyo be doing?
Would it be safe to say that we just say Elora went with Heather and Galibar? And me and Adamant stayed behind? Or
yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably because Elora might have done that and just sort of been along with them.
So, yeah.
Go ahead. Continue something else. I'll come circle back.
Okay. Galibar or Enka, anything that you...
Mm-mm. Nope. At this point in time, I'm playing it by ear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because,
Galibar's
you can plan and plan and plan, and it still may not come to fruition in the morning.
Okay. So... Adamant.
Yeah.
Make a what are you, describe your, in air quotes, sleepwalking.
He is just gonna be walking down the hall, slow, creepy like, and muttering to himself in Dwarf.
Muttering to yourself in Dwarvish, okay.
Yep.
So your idea would then be to kind of make your way eventually down these main stairs and then get over and go down to the basement stairs?
Yes.
Okay. Make me a performance check, if you will.
This should go swimmingly. Performance. Can I give myself guidance?
Sure you can.
Sweet. Gonna need that. That's our setup. I'm gonna have to do it manually. On performance. Dear God.
Okay.
What's a 10?
Okay, with a 3, so a total of a 10. Yes, as you begin to move down the corridor towards the head of the stairs, there are a couple of the household staff that are coming up the stairs, and they see you, and one of them looks like they're about to ask if there's something you need, and the other one whispers something into their ear, and they kind of have this exchange of looks, and then they just sort of press themselves up very close against the wall and just sort of stay out of your way. They make a great effort, and they just sort of let you go by.
He just trundles on by, keeps on going.
Okay, and with
Sound
your
of snores coming,
with your passive of 17, you. Okay, your passive of 19. That's right. You hear some exchanged whispers behind, and one of them says, "Should we follow him to see if he's okay?" And the other one says, No. The master says, do not disturb him when he's in this state. It has to do with an illness and a medication that he takes. The poor man. Just be. Stay clear of him. And the other one says, "Oh, okay. Well, I hope he doesn't hurt himself." And then they go off to do their job. So you wind up coming down the stairs, and that gets you down to the main floor. And as you come down those main stairs, you do notice that there are the main door to the outside still stands open. There's a guard standing, one of the household guards standing at the door. There are a few people that look like they are probably guests that are milling about and talking in small clusters. And there's a couple of the large tables that don't have quite so many platters on them now as they did before. But your host, Badraan, is nowhere to be seen. He is probably up in his chambers at the moment. But he's not around. So then you make your way over to the...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Make me another performance check. Getting through this main
You
floor.
have advantage due to 12.
Okay.
That's
You have advantage.
give myself guidance again.
Okay. So you can roll with advantage and then apply the guidance.
Yep.
Gosh. Exactly the same thing. Okay. The path to the basement stairs takes you right through the kitchen. And of course, as you walk through the kitchen, there are several members of the staff working there. And they look up and, it's that same sort of whispered, and they all sort of kind of scurry out of the way and just let you go by, and you go through the little door over here that leads you towards the stairs going down. They kind of look at each other, but then you hear the same kind of whispered reminders not to disturb you, and you hear one of them say, "Well, I don't know. There's nothing down in the basement now. Hopefully he's okay." And they say, "Well, just keep an ear out. If there's a crash or something, go check on him. But otherwise, we shouldn't bother him."
Down he goes.
Yep. Down you go. You go through the door into the basement, and you, when you get into the basement, you see about almost directly ahead of you, a little bit off to your right, you see the closet door that was talked about. And you get to that area and you see it's a big kind of a walk-in closet, like a 10 by 15 foot closet, and over in one corner there's a trap door that leads down. Okay. Are you going to wait there in that chamber for everybody to join you, or are you going to go on down into the tunnel?
He's going to go on down into the tunnel. That way he is out of sight, out of mind.
Okay. All right. So you go on down into the tunnel, and when you open that trap door, you find there is a stone shaft. It's maybe a 5 by 5 shaft that is not completely squared, but the corners are kind of rounded. It's square shaped with rounded corners, and an iron ladder set into one wall with the rungs going down, and then that ladder extends a little bit into the tunnel below. The ladder's about 30 feet. The tunnel is about a 10-foot high tunnel, and the base of the ladder is about 3 feet off of the ground into one wall of the tunnel. And the tunnel's maybe 10 foot wide, 10 feet tall, and there is no hatch on the top of that. It's just, you can just see the square shaft going all the way up to the trapdoor at the top.
Right. He is going to look at this small hole. Kind of like, I'm glad I have this ring. However, on the wall there, the room is otherwise empty, right? No real reason for anybody to come in here unless they're looking for stuff in here.
There's some stuff stored in here, but most of the stuff stored in here is covered in like blankets, and there's evidence that people come in and out of here on occasion, but they don't come in and out of here very frequently.
Okay, so what he's going to do is on top of the door, in Draconic, he's going to write cramped space ahead.
Okay. You're writing this on the door to the room or on the trap door?
A trap door.
Okay.
In Draconic?
Yes, in Draconic. Well, wait, no.
And Galibar is the only one that could read that, I think.
You can't write that in Draconic. I'm sorry.
In Dwarvish?
He writes it in Dwarvish.
So, how many of your party members know Dwarvish?
I'm not sure.
Even less.
Galibar knows it.
Okay. Cramped space ahead. And then he is going to go shimmy his way down.
Okay.
Go, shimmy.
All right, just okay. So if somebody who is other than your party members comes and sees that, they'll notice that something is written on that door, right? You're thinking about that?
Yeah. He'll do ascending instead.
Okay.
He'll do ascending to Galibar.
You're actually probably close enough knowing where your suite is. You're probably close enough to do a message.
I don't have a message.
Oh, okay. All right.
Galibar does.
But that doesn't
help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you just do ascending. What do you tell Galibar?
Galibar, this tunnel that you're going to be climbing down is very narrow and cramped. You should be prepared. Both you and Enka may have issues.
Well, I know what job it is now. Oof.
I have something that could make myself smaller. It should not be much of an issue.
And that he's not going to use another one. So he just
Okay.
He is going to take up residence down there and that's where he is going to rest for the night.
All right. Do his long rest.
Yes.
All right. So then let's go back to Oyohusa. Oyohusa was going to look around.
He's going to go and knock on Elora's door to her chambers.
Ivy?
Opened the door as she was on her balcony, just smelling all the smells from the incense she can smell from everyone else that was staying there. But she'll open the door and doing her comfort thing, she'll have plants growing in her room.
Okay.
He looks at her.
She'll try and hide them from the door so no one can see them.
May I come in?
To kind of look past him, look on the inside of the door and say, maybe if you won't get mad.
Oh, what have you done? He kind of says playfully.
Elora will smile and open the door as she reveals her plants that she grew.
I like what you've done with the place.
Well, it looks a lot better than just sandy walls and all this.
Indeed. It needs some life, some vibrance. And you are good at that. It's one of the things I admire about you.
Well, I know that already. Just to kind of scoff, and she'll leave the door open and she'll go just back out on the patio.
He'll close the door and he slowly walks up and he slides up behind her and he embraces her and he leans in and he says, I miss you today. How was the trip to the city?
Well, was this, that, the other thing? Very lot of miserable people, and on top of that, it's just so dead. I don't understand how anyone can enjoy living here.
This celebration tonight reminds me of home, and even though we are in a dreary and quite evil place, it brings me comfort, and tonight is a beautiful night, and
well, the celebration is definitely something different. It is something to admire. It does remind me of those big, huge festivals back in Innistrad that we used to have for the Bellman, and it was a really truthfully nice sight.
He gently kind of nuzzles his into your neck, and he says, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, or what the horrors await us and dangers in the Ziggurat in which we are going, but promise me that you'll not do anything rash. I want to make sure that we all get out alive.
Laura will just turn around and cup his cheeks and say, I can't promise that. You know me. Who knows, I might just summon a whole jungle in the Ziggurat, and you might be very upset by that, but you know what? At least it'll help the other elementals out. They'll be happy. Just a big, huge tree in the middle of it. Great decoration, right? So just try and tease him to ease up his mood, to not think of such negativity.
He's looking her in the eyes, and he just grins, and he says, I love how chaotic you can be sometimes. And he leans in and he gives her a kiss.
She'll only smile and shake her head and say, chaotic? Have you seen your best friend Adamant? He lights my whole forest on fire. You know how many times I had to put that out?
He is a bit of a firebug, is he not?
More than just a little. What is he? Like this tall? She'll kind of like put her hand up and say, yeah, about this tall. She'll kind of like pat the air where his head would be.
I was wondering if I could spend the evening with you.
Well, you're always more than welcome to stay in my room, Oyo. You know that already. I don't have to explain that to you.
Aren't we all sharing a room?
Kind of just interlaces his fingers into her hand, and he says, good.
To your question, probably, but I don't know. We normally get our own rooms.
That's true. We normally do.
You guys have a suite, and there are individual sleeping quarters within that suite. So, yeah, there would not be enough rooms, let's say, for everybody. But we'll say that there's 3 sleeping quarters. So maybe Enka would have sleeping quarters of her own, and Elora would have one of her own, and then the 3 boys would be expected to share one. So Elora would have a room that, kind of would be private to herself.
Well, Elora would probably split a room with Oyohusa then. Enka would get her room, Galibar would get his own, and then Adamant just stands in the living room.
Okay. All right.
Oyo just kind of gently pulls her wrist and towards the room, and he says, come, show me your plants.
She'll clap her hands and get excited. She'll just, pull his hand and say, come on now, you're not fast enough. I can't wait for you to see the daisies.
And that's where we'll end the scene.
Yep. there's like kind of that little knowing wink in her eyes when she talks about showing him the daisies, and they share a little chuckle, and so time passes. There is okay. So logistically, when we'll say that Oyo, that the guards from the overnight will come off duty 1 hour after dawn, and the morning guard will go on duty at that same time. So having that as kind of your time frame, when would you like to try to slip out and do your little mission?
Probably about how long would it take me to get there? Do I think?
You would be able to get to the if nothing stops you, you would be able to get probably to the guard barracks you want to hit first in maybe 15 minutes. So I don't know whether you want to leave a buffer or whether you just want to plan on everything going perfectly fine. And then it would take another maybe 10 minutes to get to the second guard area, and then about another 15 or 20 minutes to get back to the estate. So round trip, if everything goes perfectly well, you could probably do it all in an hour.
Okay. So that's what I'll do. I'll give myself a slight buffer.
Okay.
Just in case something delays me 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. So with your nocturnal activities, I'm going to say that you really don't have enough time to get a long rest. But having said that, Having said that, you didn't use any spells or expend any spell slots or anything the day before, so you have your full complement. But you are in that. There's that thing in 5e where you can go one night without getting a long rest, but if you go a second night without getting a long rest, then you have to start making like exhaustion checks and things of that nature. So you didn't have any resources you needed to recover, so you're fine with that. All of your slots, all of your abilities are fully charged, and you don't have any exhaustion at the moment, but just beware that if something causes you to miss a second night without a long rest, you will have a chance to pick up a level of exhaustion. So,
okay. So what time did he get up to go do his mission then? Or
well, it was probably 12, or it was probably close to 1 in the morning when they got back from going around the city. Mm-hmm. And it's probably, if you want to get everything done, it's probably around 6 or so when you get up. So you had about 5 hours, so not quite a full. Well, actually, that's a total of 5 hours. Plus, you have to subtract from that 5 hours the time that you were, you and Elora were spending together. So that does not count as rest until you actually go to sleep.
Would I have gotten maybe at least 4 hours?
Probably would have gotten 4 hours, but in D&D is this weird thing. It's an either all or nothing. You either get all the time you need, or you. Oh wait, you're an elf, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All I have to do is trance for 4 hours.
Okay. All right. That's what you should. That's what you should tell me. You should remind me that you're.
Well, I didn't want to be blatantly be like, no, I'm an elf. You know,
I'm an elf.
I just wanted to. I was just making sure. It was like I thought you knew, and you were like, this was something you were pressing. I just want to make sure.
No. I was thinking of a different game. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that.
I have had a character who did that. In character, I'm an elf.
Okay, yeah. So 4 hours is fine. You're
Elora's the one that should be probably retired.
Well, she's not getting up before. She's not getting up before dawn. So.
Hey, dirty minds. Nothing happened. All right.
All right.
I was going to say, I'm a half elf.
They talked about flowers all night. Everybody.
That's right. All right. She showed me the daisies. Okay.
They talked about stamens and pistils.
Yeah.
The process of pollination.
She showed me her flowers. She talked and fell asleep in my lap. That's basically what happened. And then I tranced the rest of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, so let's move over here to the map of the city. And we're going to make a series of some checks with Oyo. So
Oyohusa has advantage on one of them.
Okay. And I'll let Oyohusa decide when he wants to use that. So as you start making your way through the merchant district, there are, of course, people out and about in the street, and most of them are fairly drunk. The first time you would have to make a check is when you get to the area where the merchant district or where the nobles district meets up with the merchant district. There are some guards there, and those do appear to be these big Gazban ogre guards. So kind of the big dumb brute looking kind of guards. So how would you can make me a stealth check to get past them if you wish.
Now I have a question. I can't use any kind of magical cantrips and stuff like that without being detected in the city. Is that true?
If you use it with your psionics that you guys have learned how to do, then you can do it without being detected. If you try to use it normally, then you would probably be detected.
First of all, I need to see if I can sneak away from Elora without her noticing.
I was joking.
Oh.
Oyo is a master of sneaking out of bedrooms at night.
Oh, that's
but not Elora's.
That's a low blow.
You've done it in the campaign before.
Let's see if I don't wake her up. I'm gonna say I get out of there pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn it! Why did I waste that? Okay. All right. So another stealth. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oyo snaps his fingers, and instead of Elora laying on his lap, she's now laying on a log.
Yeah. The as you get towards the guard gates here, you can see that one of these ogre guards has kind of his head down on his chest as he's standing there. He's just leaned up against the wall. His head is down on his chest, and the other one is kind of looking down the street, but has his index finger halfway up his nose. And so with an 18, you just easily sneak by, and they don't even, neither one of them seems to notice you.
All right.
So then you can make your way through the whole warren of streets, all the way over to the gate of the Palace District, and you come across revelers. There are people that are out in the street. There's some areas where people are gathered together and singing in kind of like these little impromptu parades in this one block or another. There are other places you go by and people are just passed out drunk on the streets. And the only thing you have to be careful of is in some places not stepping into vomit, where people have had a little bit too much to drink and have puked. Most of the time, fortunately, it's over on the edges of the street, not out in the middle of the street. So you make your way without any difficulty there, moving from shadow to shadow. And then you come to the wall, and you look up, and you see some guard towers, and there's a mix. There's, you notice that there are some towers that it appears that the guards are human, and some towers that appears the guards are these Gazban ogres. Do you have a preference of where you would like to climb? You want to climb closer to one of the human towers or closer to one of the ogre towers?
What do I know about ogres? And like, I know humans don't see well in the dark, but what do I know about ogres?
The ogres here tend to be kind of, at least by your observation, slow-witted, similar to the ogres on other worlds. Now, I've got to look something up really quickly.
Is it daylight yet, or is
No. It's still getting towards. You still have the cover of night. Let me see. In Toril, ogres do have dark vision out to 60 feet. So if they are like that, they may have some dark vision, but they're not terribly attentive.
Got it. I will go towards the humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you don't have to make any climb checks. Just make a stealth check unless you have some feature that you use to move silently. Oh my gosh.
What?
Oh my gosh, Pete. Pete.
I will use the immovable rods and use them as a very quick ladder. Yeah. I don't think I have anything that helps me move silently, but
okay. So then, just a stealth check. Yeah. Oh, okay. You scale up the wall and you get up towards the top, and you look. And you happen to get there as guards are passing you, and their backs are to you as they walk away. And the wall is maybe 10 feet wide, and then over the other side. And you kind of glance up, and nobody seems to be looking out the windows. In fact, in one of the guard towers over there is the guard tower that's closest to you. There's a human guard, and he's kind of got his back to his back to you, and his head is tilted back like he's drinking something. So, yeah, there's nobody notices you with a 23. And you slip down the other side. And as you slip down the other side, you can see this camp over there where where you see this building over there where there's several openings on either side of it, and guards are kind of milling around. City guards are kind of milling around there. There's one area, a large chimney near the back, where the aroma of food is coming up from that chimney. So you make one more stealth check to sneak over there and make sure you can get your, doctor up the... Yep. You walk in, you slip in, there's plenty of shadow around and stuff, and you get to the kitchen and you find an area or a moment when people all have their back turned to this big pot that's there. You go over, you take the vial of distilled toxins and pour it into the big pot, and then you slip back out. So that gets you in and out of there. And then you make it back over the wall. And then the next thing is probably going through the stadium. Just as expected, you do notice that the gates to the stadium are opened, and there are people that are in a uniformed livery that are moving in and out of that area. So it's like people that are doing probably the last minute cleanup and last minute setup and everything, getting ready for the crowds that will come.
Like vendors and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Those types of things. And there's plenty of shadow and stuff like that. You as you look up, you can see off in the east. There's kind of above the buildings that you can see in the east. There's kind of the pre-dawn on the edge of the horizon over there. So that it's getting close to the time for the sun to come up. But then as you make your way over to and through the stadium, make one more stealth check for that. Okay, yeah, no problem at all. And then I'm just going to say you make it up and over the wall with no problem. Make another stealth check to doctor this second vat of the cooking. Okay. You slip in and slip out of there. No trouble. Come back over the wall. You make it. Would you go through the stadium again and retrace your steps, or would you go back through the slave area of the city?
Are there any accompanying risk for either or is it more just
it might mean you definitely know there would probably be one more check going through the stadium. You might have to make another check going through the slave area as well. And then, but no, it's probably not much of a difference either way.
I guess he'll go back through the slave area.
Okay. All right. So you make your way over here. You do notice that in that slave area there's evidence that the slaves are all just extremely exhausted, and even the people that seem to be kind of the taskmasters or guardians of the slaves, they almost all of them seem to be slumped over asleep. Because they have been pushed so hard to get this ziggurat done, and there's a few places that you go by some forms of slaves on the ground, and as you pass by them, your nose wrinkles a little bit with the stench of death. So, some of these slaves that are here have probably literally been worked to death to get this ziggurat done. Mm-hmm. But you make it through this area, and then come through the you come to this area of the nobles' quarters, and once again, as you're coming to that area, you see a couple of the ogre guards, and they're this time as you approach, both of them look like they're asleep. So, as long as you just don't step on something, you have no issues. You come through this way, and then the last check you have to make is as you try to enter this final noble quarter area as you go back towards the villa. And once again, it's a couple of guards. And now the sky in the east is a little bit lighter. You can't see the sun yet, but it is kind of that gray light of dawn, if you will. And so go ahead and make one more stealth check. Okay. Yeah, you wait until you see them get distracted by something, and you dart through, and you make it all the way back to the manor house.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. And as you get back to the manor house, there are the smells of from the kitchen where they are cooking the morning meal, and all of that is going on, and you are able to shimmy up the wall and go back into a window and get back into your guest quarters. Just about the time everybody else is waking up. So,
now it's time to see if we can sneak in without waking Elora up.
Okay.
So another stealth check.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. 28.
I'll actually roll against this one because I might actually stand a chance.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh! Wow! Snap.
Nice.
Okay.
Wait
so the door opens, Elora, from the balcony.
Elora will just sit up in the bed with her messy hair just floofed out, and she'll just cross her arms and just stare at daggers at him.
I succeeded.
My daisies were very nice, and yet this is what I wake up to.
Don't be mad, kitten. My mission went well.
She'll only chuckle and she'll floof back down on bed and say, "Come here, 5 more minutes."
And he comes over and he snuggles with her.
Okay.
Insane.
All right. Then it's not long before you guys, the servants come to call you all down to breakfast. And you head down, and it's a lovely meal. There's a lot of fresh fruit. There are some bird eggs that have been scrambled, and there's something that's not quite entirely unlike omelets that they serve for breakfast. There's some things that are similar to waffles or pancakes that they serve. There's some spicy meat in ground patties or links that has kind of a savory flavor. There's not anything that seems like bacon, though. But that's, and then there's tea available, as well as some fruit juices and some very, very dark, heavy, almost tastes like it's twice brewed coffee.
Enka will come down and sit and begin partaking of her food that she's picked out, some egg type stuff, and she avoids the meat.
Okay. Galibar?
I mean, he'll just come down and enjoy breakfast like nothing's gonna happen.
Okay. All right. And by the time that Elora and Oyohusa get down to breakfast, your host is there, and the other members of the Veiled Alliance that are with you are there, and they and they're kind of all looking at you all, and they're going to wait for you all to put your plan into effect. So, as you get close to ending the breakfast meal, your host will begin to say, "Oh, this is going to be a wonderful day. I am so happy that you all will be able to join me in my box. Have you seen your friend? Oh no, Adamant told him that he was leaving early. Okay, so never mind. He's not looking for Adamant. He says, "Oh, I think that we will be that my." As for myself, I will be ready to go within the next hour or so. If you all want to take some time to freshen up, it will be my honor to have you as my guest today."
Enka just remains quiet, like she's, maybe drank a little too much last night.
Okay.
We look forward to it.
Okay, out of character. Who remembers the plan that you guys?
We're all taking the tunnel, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, what was the cover story you were going to give him about why you couldn't go with him?
What did Adamant say? When we were in the meeting, we're going to meet up with some merchants or something?
Yeah.
Pete, you there?
Mike's muted.
Pete.
I'm here. I had to get back to it so I could unmute. Yeah, it's going to be, they have a meeting with another merchant.
Okay. All right.
Oyo would speak up and he'd be like, we'll join you. We have a quick stop off with a meeting and another merchant this morning, but we will join you shortly. Hopefully it does not run long, but we will show up.
Oh, yes. So he looks at Enka and at Elora, and he gives you all a wink. He says, "Yes." He says, "Adamant has said that there were some other deals that he was making. I see that the lovely Elora and the lovely Enka have impressed some of the merchants from the party last night. Please, do make some opportunities to make some deals, but do not be late. I so look forward to having you in my box. Several very important friends of mine will be by, and I know you will have an opportunity to make some deals with them during the day."
Enka just nods. Mm-hmm. Still acting a little hungover, like, just go away.
And
Or
he
trying to snap back into attention with like a piece of bread or something in her mouth, and
Enka, make me a performance check. Let's see how well you pull off that hungover look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. He looks over at you and he kind of gives a little smile to the rest of you, like a little knowing smile, like, "Ha, somebody drank too much last night." It's very well, very well. Just go to when you arrive at the Ziggurat, go to the entrance on the northwest side and tell them that you are my guests. And he actually reaches over and pulls takes a little disc that has a seal of his house on it, and he hands it to Oyohusa. He says, "Give this to them. Tell them that you are joining me in my box. They will show you up to the box."
All right. I will do so.
Okay, so he leaves the table and goes to start to get ready, and the Veiled Alliance members, they start to kind of give signs that, yeah, this is our chance. Get everything you guys need and let's go. This is going to be a group stealth check. So this will be Elora, Enka, Galibar, and Oyohusa. Since Adamant is already down in the tunnel, the four of you, I want you to make me a stealth check to see that you can sneak by, and I'm going to make one check on behalf of your
Damn heavy armor again.
That just means you get disadvantage, right?
I'm not wearing heavy armor.
Oh,
okay. Well, still a 20.
Check.
20 is good. Yeah, a stealth check.
Oof.
God. I might give myself guidance on this.
Okay.
19's not terrible. Oh, thank God you picked sleight of hand and not stealth.
Yeah.
Oops.
Make a stealth check.
Nice.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Look at me go. I'm on a roll.
Okay. All right. And they make their. So we have a 20, a 19, a 22, and a 17. And that's all balanced against the 111. So the group check succeeds. It just has to be the majority of people beating the DC for the entire group to make their way down. So you guys get down to the basement without anybody noticing you. And you make your way over to the closet. And you go in and you see the trapdoor on the floor. Open it up and you see the ladder going down into the tunnel. And you climb down, and the Veiled Alliance people follow you. They close the tunnel at the top, and they have their weapons and everything that they are going to take to go into the palace. You guys have your equipment that you need, and you make your way underground through the tunnel. You go all the way over to about this area here. And it's just after just before the tunnel takes a slight turn and goes more or less straight on towards the palace, that you see another one of those ladders that is set along one wall. You look up and there's a similar sized trapdoor or similar sized shaft leading up to a trapdoor up above. And they look down the other hall. They say, there doesn't appear to be anyone here, which is good. That means that they would not suspect anyone of using this on this day. So, this is where we part, friends. Good luck in your mission.
Good luck to you as well.
And they will give you a nod, and they will begin to make their way off down the other tunnel. So, what order do you guys want to go up? Because it's a ladder that allows for about one person at a time to go up.
I think Oyo should go first at all times. He's going to be constantly looking for traps and anything else out of order.
Okay.
I mean, he's just on full alert. Like, he doesn't know what the hell to expect in this Ziggurat.
Okay.
Elora goes second because she's small and tiny and able to climb up easily. And she doesn't want someone else to fall on her and kill her. All the rest of you guys.
Before you start climbing, can I have my item back, please?
Who are you talking to?
Oyohusa.
Oh.
Oyo?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Can I have my thing back?
Oh, yes, indeed. And he reaches in his bag of holding and he pulls out your two immovable rods and hands them to you.
I'll keep one of them. I don't need. Only got
All
two.
right, thank you.
Okay, so I have Oyohusa first, Elora second. Who's third in the...
I'll go third.
Okay. Adamant. Who's fourth and who's bringing up the rear?
Galibar will go next.
Okay. And then Enka is rear guard. Okay.
Inka will keep
right.
face own, because if anyone sulks back, Inka can just stab him with the horns in the booty. See?
Okay, so Oyohusa climbs up, and you get to the top, and you see the trap door is up there, and there is not an obvious mechanism for opening it. However, you do see hinges on one side, so you know it opens, but there's not an obvious mechanism for opening it. So give me, you can give me a check, and do you want to do a check for traps first, or do you want to look for a mechanism to open it first?
Traps and then the mechanism in that order always.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make your, if you have a feature that's specifically for traps, you can use that. Otherwise, I think it's an investigation check to look for traps.
Not the greatest.
Okay. Doesn't appear to be any traps here. And then you can make a check to see if you can figure out what where the opening mechanism would be.
Another investigation?
Yeah. Well, it's got to be here somewhere. You start poking around, and the rest of you are standing there looking up. And it's like, Oyohusa's like, well, it's not trapped, but dadgummit, how does this thing open?
Elora will kind of peer over Oyohusa's shoulder, and she'll try and find out where it is. Can she make a roll?
Yeah, you can climb up there and make a check.
She'll kind of talk to Oyohusa. Oyohusa, where have you looked? It's not that hard to find a handle or anything like that.
I hope you roll well after that.
What?
I hope you roll well after saying that.
Oh, yeah, there it is. It's actually, he was looking on the side opposite the hinges, but actually it's on the side right next to the hinges where the latch is. It's kind of one of these things where it's counterintuitive. The mechanism is there, but then it opens from the other side. So it's kind of like the handle is on the left side of the door, but the door opens from the right.
It's bass backwards. You know?
Yeah. So it's kind of just a thing where, you think somebody would probably do that in order to try to throw off people who don't know how it works from opening. So, yeah, you manipulate that, and as you open this trapdoor, I think we have Oyo on the ladder, and we have Elora on the ladder right now, so I need both of the two of you to make a dexterity check. It's not a saving throw, it's a check.
It opens down. Oh no.
Okay. So, Elora, that doesn't work.
I have no inspiration or anything, so...
Yeah. Oyo, go ahead. Okay, yeah. Oyo, you move your shoulder out of the way as this big goop or this big wad of very stinky goop that has the smell of rotting flesh falls just past you. You quickly move your shoulder out of the way, and it lands right on Elora's head. And it starts to streak down through her hair and everything. And Elora, oh God, it stinks. It stinks.
Her face will turn sour, and she will stare up at him, and she'll kind of like pull his leg, like, "You did that on purpose."
Does she start vomiting?
No.
Okay, good.
It's not a saving throw or anything. It's just to see if you guys could get out of the way. And of course, some of this spatters down on the floor. And those of you, everybody except Adamant, who can't smell, those of you down, you can smell. And it's just like the odor from up above. It's like you've just opened the door into a charnel house. And you see the ladder continues up, but the rungs of the ladder are all covered in like this viscous goop, whatever this was that drops through. Elora, you take no damage. It's not, it's not corrosive or acidic or anything like that.
Mental damage because she's dirty.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is what prestidigitation is for.
Yeah, but she doesn't have that.
I do. Galibar casts prestidigitation to clean her up.
Do you do that now, or are you going to wait until you guys get through this? Because you're probably going to have to deal with this going on the way up as well.
Adamant doesn't care. He just starts climbing.
Okay.
No.
Plus, would Galibar
no magic.
even be able to see her right now? Because, like, the order and them actually up the stairs and going up the stairs. So it might be a moment either way.
Okay.
Should just try her best to wipe herself clean.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to get us to this area here. Okay. As you climb up, there is a narrow, irregular shaft that appears to come up through this mass. You're obviously in a pit. You're climbing up into a pit. And I need to move the map for you. You are climbing up into a pit, and this pit is full of the bodies of those who died building the Ziggurat. It contains fallen workers, overworked slaves, victims of the oppressive reign of Suleiman over the last few years. And there's even some people who appear to have some noble garb. As they, so probably people that he despised. As you climb up, you realize that this entire mass just is very slightly undulating a little bit, as though something within this mass of bodies is moving.
Rats.
So I'm going
to be rats.
So I'm going to go ahead and get your tokens from over here, and then I will bring.
Of all the times not to have prepared.
All the times to have
what?
All the times not to have ceremony prepared. I can't.
Oh.
hollow. This is now a holy site. These people shall rest in peace in the name of...
Pieces. They rest in pieces.
Well, maybe if we don't blow it up, we can go back here and then you can bless these dead souls. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you guys all get in here, and Enka, as you come up, are you going to close the trapdoor? Or are you going to leave that open? Since you're the last one up.
I will kind of leave it open for the moment, because what if we need to make a hasty exit? I don't want the door getting blocked.
Okay. All right. As you all are kind of finally up into this mass, there's sort of this undulating motion begins to seem like it has a little bit more purpose to it. And as it does, you see three shapes that emerge from the mass of these bodies. And these three shapes come out, and they are corpse-like shapes, and they look very hostile, and in fact they look like you all seem like you're delicious. They would very much like to bite you.
Bite.
And
that being said, please don't let me bite you.
yes. And with that, we can go ahead and we can start. Well, would you like to start a combat now, or would you like to come back next time and start the combat at the beginning?
Let's leave
of
it
next
on
session?
a cliffhanger.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we could roll initiative. That way we could jump right into it.
Yeah, we could go ahead and roll initiative. So everybody can go ahead and roll initiative. I just want to make sure I set these people up correctly. We did. Excellent. Wonderful. All right. So...
Daggone it. Adamant going first tends to shift
Okay.
purpose in battle a little bit.
Yeah.
You mean Elora?
Wait. Funny joke.
Yes.
Do you know what we should do? We should fight undead with undead. I cast Raise Dead. No.
Raise Dead doesn't make undead.
And then we suddenly can't move.
All right.
Raise Dead is just a more powerful version of Spy.
Okay. Everybody, thank you for joining us. And yes, next time we will start our session immediately with the fight here in this first area of the Ziggurat. You will, from here on out, you'll be facing creatures that are all drawn. Well, I guess you have for this whole level. You'll be facing creatures that are all drawn from either the Arabian Nights set or from 2nd edition D&D. So you've got some interesting types of abilities you will encounter, and hopefully some interesting looking creatures. And this is a big dungeon crawl here for the remainder of our time in this plane. So I found a wonderful, wonderful adventure from an earlier edition of D&D that has all of the areas of this pyramid or this ziggurat cut up into individual maps already. So
nice.
Every one of these battle maps we're on is relatively small, and it should make navigating around a little bit easier. So hopefully that will be good. And then as you guys climb up to the top of the pit, we will see what you see as you get into the rest of this area. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for playing today. Players, does anybody have anything they want to announce between now and next session, next Sunday? What's going on?
Not really.
Family.
I'm sorry, what was that, Ivy?
No, I have a new addition to the family.
Oh, yes, we saw your pictures of the new puppy. Yeah. That is still a puppy?
Yes, he's only like 3 weeks old.
Oh, wow, okay. Now, what kind of dog is he?
He is a lab mixed with a husky.
Okay, so he'll get to be a pretty good sized dog. And he grows up.
He's gonna be big boy.
How is the cat's taking this?
She is actually very curious about the dog. She's not scared of him. They actually we're touching noses at 3 points, but if he comes around my room, she gets overprotective of me, and she'll hiss at him and tell him to go away from my room. Because that's our area.
You're gonna have one of the loudest dogs ever. Huskies
I bet you it's going to be a
loud.
talker.
He's actually being pretty quiet, but then again, he is still young yet, so.
Yeah.
He hasn't found his bark yet.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be doing Monster Monday. Monster Monday, we are going to be taking a look at the Clockwork Dragon. And then Thursday night at 8 p.m., we will have another session of our Sword Coast Chronicles, which promises to be quite interesting with some things that got set into motion last time.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, we are back for our Greyhawk Saturday night, or Saturday Night Greyhawk. And it is in the Temple of Elemental Evil, although they have amassed so much treasure at this point, they had to go back to town and sift through it and try to figure out what some of it means, because one of the items they found was a box that has unspeakable ancient evil. And they have to figure out what's going on with that before they can proceed any further. And there also is the potential, because of something they did, their enemies may sooner or later figure out that something is going on, and we'll see how that all plays out. And then next Sunday we will be back. Players, just as an FYI, if you didn't see it, I did pin a new message in the Discord with the schedule that I know so far for 2022 for everybody's planning. As you guys learn of anything that may impact our game, let me know. Thank you, Chris. I know you mentioned something, so we'll see. I mainly want to look at if it's something that's going to take one person away from the game, we will probably still play. But if we get 2 or 3 of you having to miss for something on the same week, then we'll cancel and postpone for the next week. So this year may turn out to be a busy year for everybody.
Yep.
All right. I am going to move us back over to the slate and take a look and see if anybody else is running some D&D on Twitch.
I'm gonna head on out.
Yep.
Next week.
Later.
Players, you guys have fun. Talk to you next time. And
Yes,
viewers, we will go ahead and see if we can't get you sent off to another D&D game. All right, come on.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Ivy. Glad you're able to join us.
Thank you for hosting.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Still, once again, sorry that work has been changing up my schedule so much.
Oh, I just appreciate you letting us know that you were going to be a little bit late. All right, viewers, we're gonna go ahead and raid Dancing on Fire. They're running some D&D, so